Hi everyone. Excuse the weird hair. I just woke up and so I just threw it in a hat to make this video because I'm actually getting out, ready to leave. But ow, I just keep hurting myself on this video. Um, but I'm actually getting ready to leave. But I just really want to make a video because I'm kind of annoyed right now, just a little bit. So this is kind of, I don't know, it's kind of a question to you guys, but we're kind of like a vlog rant for me. So you can watch if you want, but don't watch if you do. That just made no sense, but yeah, you get the idea. Anyway, what I wanted to make a video about was this morning I woke up and ended up having an actually pretty heated discussion with my boyfriend. Um, he goes to a different college than me because he just moved there, so it is long distance. So we fell asleep on Skype, which is what we normally do, and I woke up and he found this quote from that Duck Dynasty guy that got kicked off the show. I'm not really against him, like, per se. Like, for those of you that don't know what happened, you probably have to look it up. I don't know all the details, so I will pad this by saying I don't know everything about the incident, and it, of course, has probably morphed a little. But to my knowledge, he made a comment in an interview about homosexuality being a sin and how it's wrong. Which, for me, I personally don't believe in that. And I don't really think it's anyone's room to say that. Like, I understand religiously where they come through. I understand people do say that. A lot of people believe in the Bible, which I also personally don't think the Bible is against homosexuality. But to each their own. But I personally, in my view, he is a public figure, and there's plenty of people who hear his opinion. And I just know from personal experience that when you're going through a lot of stuff, you could have been bullied that day about your, like, sexuality and so forth. And I just know from personal experience that, you know, hearing that one little thing kind of sucks. So I don't really think in the room of being a public figure, you should be talking about it. And I'm extremely, like, for equality, just from personal experiences and things that have happened in my life, as well as just, I think it's just natural, like, it's human to me, and I believe every human should be treated equally. It's just my view. My boyfriend's view varies a little bit. He's not, like, outright, I would have huge problems with that, but he's not really, like, he can't really understand it. But he's not, like, going around petitioning against it or saying it's wrong or so forth. But he does support this, what do you call it, guy from Duck Dynasty. And I don't necessarily support him, I don't necessarily dissupport him, and that's not the idea behind it for me. But he brought up the topic through a quote that the guy made, saying that I need to be more, like, understanding of it. And I can respect that. You know, and it's his opinion, but he is a public figure, and he's saying that for millions of people to hear. So I don't really think it's okay. But my boyfriend brought up the subject, and we got in a heated debate. And in my opinion, oppressing the right to marriage, which comes with a lot of other rights. Like, a lot of other rights. The example I frequently use, especially with my boyfriend, is that if you love and care about someone, like, if something happens to them, if you aren't married to that person or been with that person for so long, if they have close family or so forth, you are more than likely not going to be allowed back in a hospital room if they are hurt or so forth. One good example of this is the documentary Bridegroom. I think some of you might like it, some of you might not, and for others it might be a really good eye-opener. But the documentary depicts a young man and his lover, and he passed away, his lover did, and his parents kind of took him in, but the lover parents were a little and I guess they took them in, but when he passed away, he was unable to go back into the hospital room and see him for an extended amount of time because he was not family. And so he wasn't allowed to go see him even though he was passing away. And he wasn't even allowed to attend the funeral because of the family's view and the family's point of view that, what do you call it, they didn't want him there because he was homosexual, and they refused to acknowledge that their son was also homosexual. And it's really kind of depressing, and that one hit me home. It's a really great documentary. You guys should all watch it. But the point being made there is you are restricted of other rights when your right to marriage is taken away. And I really feel really strongly about that. And my boyfriend, like, he said, I'm not supporting other people's views, blah, blah. And I referenced how it's just kind of another form of oppression when you're a straight person and you're like, oh, they're different than me, they can't get married. No. So I kind of just pointed that out, and yeah, he disagrees really strongly. But in my opinion, he knows how I feel about this, and he brought it up again, and I'm always going to feel the same way about it. That hasn't changed at all. Like, I feel the same way. And, so in my opinion, he kind of brought it on himself that I'm going to be very heavy set in my opinion, that is how I believe, and that's how I believe. And my personal opinion is someone, like, if you believe it's wrong, well, it's great. That's not great. I don't know why I said it's great, but, it's great. It's your opinion kind of thing. But you don't have the right to go put it into law that this person can't get married. Like, that's just oppression to me. So, I feel really, really strongly about that. And he brought it up, and he's got, like, really strong views, and apparently I'm going against the Constitution because it's free speech. And he wants to get all mad at me, and he actually stormed off. I just walked off. I just hung up. This is kind of like that. I have a really strong opinion, and if you want to talk to me about it, be prepared for my strong opinion. Like, trust me, I can go. I can really go. I just really wanted to rant about that a little. I kind of made me get other people's views. I personally think it's wrong, and I can see, like, it is his religious views, the man who made that comment, but I don't know, does anyone else agree that if you're a public figure, even if those are your view, maybe you should kind of think about what you're saying in the public? I know a lot of people support him, and I know he did it in a fairly respectful way, and I can respect that, but it's still really not someone's room to comment on someone else's lifestyle, in my personal opinion, which does mean I can't really comment on people who don't believe in it and support it, but I think I would never oppress someone for it, in my opinion. I would never be like, oh, hey, you don't believe in it, you can't do this. Like a reference, that would be like, in my personal opinion, and from what I've seen in science, homosexuality and so forth comes from scientific biological reasons. And that would be like walking up to someone and everybody with brown hair being like, hey, you can't get married now because you have brown hair and I have blonde, and I think it's weird. I just don't really think it's right. So, I don't know. I just really wanted to rant because it kind of irritated me. It was kind of a shitty way to wake up. Just wake up, and all of a sudden he's like, oh, hey, here's this quote from that guy you hate. Oh, hey, well, your beliefs are wrong. I'm going to get you all riled up and just walk away because I don't want to hear them. I support them, and I'm not going to stop. I'm a really strong believer, and to anybody out there who is struggling with things like this right now, I am an open book. I know I'm just a random person, and I know I have really weird hair, but I am totally here and available to talk. And, people can be ignorant, and people can't acknowledge things like the way they should be, but just really want everyone to know, no matter what their view is on this, that it does count. It's just, you really need to think about how it would affect your life. And especially the people who like to comment on it, but don't factor into what those people go through in their daily life. For instance, if straight people couldn't marry, and you couldn't go see your loved one if they got hurt in the hospital or so forth. So, I really just think that's a really good, something to look at, something to think about. Mainly my kind of point is, if you know someone believes something strongly, then, and you have a different view, debate is great and all, but don't go get them riled up and get mad if they're not going to change and agree with you, because that's all that happened, and now my morning is not so wonderful, but I'm glad I got to rant, because I made everything a little bit better. But I'm going to go do homework now, guys. Thanks for watching. I know I don't make that many videos, and I'm pretty sure you guys are probably glad. But thank you.